Good morning, everybody, and happy Monday. Hope everybody had a great weekend and kind of got to see all the crazy things that are going on out there, like the new picture of the black hole. First ever one. I know when I saw it, it kind of blew my mind. So there's been some pretty exciting things. I know being April, we think kind of in our industry, there's nothing big coming out. But you know what? I heard the carriers, they're really starting to get ready to ramp up for a pretty exciting summer for us. Thought we'd start the day with a good Zig Ziglar quote. It is your responsibility to make the client like you. If they like you, they will listen. If they listen, they will believe. And if they believe, they will buy. Now, what we're going to talk about today is how to do a solid introduction. With solid introductions, it's really talking about to make clients like you. Doing those things really quick up front so you can kind of put down those walls and really kind of start disseminating that information to your client effectively. So happy Motivation Monday. Now, if this is your first Motivation Monday, here's kind of the layout that we go through. We go through a tip of the week. We take a look at some sales shout-outs, so who our leaders are. And then, of course, we're going to go through the solid phone introduction. So the tip of the week, I know last week we were inundated with so many tips, so it's kind of a little easier one. Surety is doing a webinar for us on their term life critical illness on the 24th. So sign up for that. Now, if you've never signed up for a training through us, shame, right? We should always try to be bettering ourselves. Go to the training area at ahcpsales.com. Click on the link there on the 24th, and it's going to ask you to register. Quick and easy. So I'm pretty much looking forward to that one. I hope everyone else on here is. Let's take a look at what we are selling here. So last week, so it's the week of the 15th there, for short term, we're mainly selling that Nat Gen and UHC. So always leading strong with that Nat Gen. I know we're making up some ground there with that United Healthcare. With the Limited Med, leading with that Foundation Health. Actually, it should say their Foundation Health Enhanced, that new Nat Gen product, which has basically doubled the benefits and lowered the cost. Huge, huge, huge. So that one we are leading with. Of course, the Plan Enhancer and Accident. I know the Tri-Term is coming out there on the 26th, so we'll see what goes on there. And then, of course, the critical illness with CBL, Colorado Bankers Life. Leading in dental is NatGen and UHC, so overturning Ameritas from last week. Our sales shout-outs. So again, Mark Hager, good job on leading there in the short term. Elaine, good job taking second, and Katya taking third. In that Limited Med, it's Katya, followed by Paula. And in Accident, it's Glenn, and then followed by Elaine again. So good job, everybody who made the board. So what we're going to talk about now is how to do a solid introduction. Now, why do we care about doing solid introduction? Well, the reason why we care is that this is the part where we're going to be introducing ourselves to the client, where we're going to make the client wowed, where they're going to actually start believing in us. There's so much to get done right away in that first 30 to 40 seconds that we should spend a lot of time perfecting it. I know right away when I'm talking to somebody on the phone, and they start there with the hms and ahs, and they go into a lot of detail. I actually check out. I'm sitting there thinking, can this person help me? Do they have the knowledge to help me? It's always kind of fun as somebody who spends so much time in sales dealing with other salespeople and kind of hearing what they do. It makes me want to really perfect my craft even more. And there's no better way to perfect the craft than in the beginning. Now, with this introduction, we're talking about doing the introduction right off the way on the cold call or even on kind of the callbacks. Now, there's four main steps to my solid introduction. There's the introduction of who you are, the why you're calling, getting some engaging questions, the with them, or what's in it for me, your benefit statements, and of course the process and the next steps. All of that, though, that we're going through is pretty much 30 to 40 seconds. At the very end of this, I'll kind of walk you through and I'll show you an example of what I say to open up my calls. Now, the very first step, I like to start with a more unexpected pleasantry. Puts the client at ease and just makes yourself more interesting. So if you've ever sat there listening to somebody say, you know, hi, this is blankety blank, this is exactly who I'm from, and they get really into the technicality, and they ask me, how are you? Frankly, they don't care how I'm doing. So I kind of just skip over that and I do a little bit of a bull in a china shop. So with that, it's like, you know, hi, John there. Hi, John. My name's Dan. I'm the health insurance guy. I'm calling because you requested information about health insurance. Is that right? So I got to knock it off a little bit, right? I'm not going to ask them how they're doing. I just ask for the person. You can throw in something a little quirky about yourself. Crazy day, isn't it? Just don't ask the normal, how are you, because they don't care. You want to knock them off a little bit in the beginning because instead of them getting up right away, because when you call your client, they're going to put up a shield. The very first second they're thinking, they're saying, I need to put up a shield. I need to protect myself. This is a salesperson. The hair on their arm is lifting up. No, knock them off a little bit. Ask them something quirky about the weather. Ask them something about, oh, that's odd. How did that happen? Random one. I was talking to a lady a few minutes ago. I go, that's a really odd last name. How did that happen? She said, I'm actually originally from New Zealand, but my family's from Ireland. So that's how I got my weird last name, and it's hyphenated. And we joined into a normal conversation. The call actually lasted about an hour after that. I could tell right away when she answered my call that her hair was standing up. She wasn't ready to actually deal with somebody, but just working through something odd like her last name really let me get it through. The other thing I don't do is I really don't get into too much personal information. I don't say, hey, my name is Dan Gincola. Here's everything about me. Here's my license number. Because if they want my last name or want to know my license number, guess what they're going to do? They're going to ask, right? So I like to start with a little unexpected pleasantry, just put these clients at ease, and again, start taking down their shield. I'm going to let them know who I am, right? So my name is Dan. I'm the health insurance guy. I can say, hey, my name is Dan Gincola. I'm with AHCP. Some people like to do that. I have a lady, she likes to give them her full backstory, and it works great. But I like to just say my first name, because if you don't know, I do talk a little fast, right? So I say Dan, the health insurance guy, because then they know what I am doing, right? I am calling because you put in a request for information about health insurance. Clean and to the point. Now, hey, you went on some website, you probably put in your information, I bet you're getting inundated with a lot of calls. I actually did get this call recently, so I put myself out there as a lead on a health insurance website. Just because I like to keep myself a little fresh, and all of a sudden I got just inundated with all these calls from people saying, I'm actually licensed in 46 states. This is exactly what I do. I'm going to do for you. Here's everything that's going to happen. You probably went on and put your information on one of these 3 sites, and guess what? They call out to people. I'm like, well, I don't need to know that. I was searching for information. I was trying. That's the main things, right? So the next section is really, why should they care? What can you do for them? You really need to appeal to the client's needs and kind of do an ear grabber, the hook. So what I am is I'm a broker that works with about 50 different companies. My services are completely free, and I'd like to save my clients on average 15% on their health insurance. So what can I do? First off, I like to let them know my services are free. That's actually kind of a big one. Why? Because a lot of people think, and I'll tell you, it is a huge preconceived notion that you pay for a broker's services. So kind of like what they're thinking of when they go through mortgages or something along those lines, that there might be additional costs on it. Well, for us, there's not. They pay for us or they go through a company, it's going to be the same price, right? So why should they work with you? What is your elevator pitch? But an elevator pitch really gives people 60 seconds. You need a sentence on this one. If you haven't actually thought that through, it's something I highly recommend you sit down doing. What can you do for your clients? How many different companies do you work for? How many states are you licensed in? How much do you actually save your clients? Do you help them find alternatives? Remember, if you think about the marketing webinar I did a few weeks ago, who is your target audience? That target audience is really going to be what your elevator pitch is here, and that's when you want to talk to. Do you help families find affordable health insurance for those with tricky needs? Do you help people who are working in the Medicare field? Do you work specifically with small businesses? What is your pitch? And make it quick. Here's the thing. They said on one of the Harvard business studies that after 30 seconds, you are losing your client's attention. So maybe in the first time, I'm like, well, I get 30 to maybe 40. So think about that. Your sentences, how many sentences can you do in 30 to 40 seconds? Unless you're me and you're going to talk like the micro machine, man. 3 or 4. You really have 3 or 4 sentences to get your point across. So this has to be one of your most powerful ones. Ear grabber, it is the hook. What can you do for them? Do you save them money? I know one of the things I specialize in, I actually specialize in saving my clients money by looking at alternative carriers. And I get a lot of referrals that way. And then the last thing is, what are you looking for as part of your introduction? So you say, hey, what I do is I save my clients 30 or 40%. How does that sound? Sounds great. Okay, what I'd like to do is I'd actually like to ask you a few questions about your current insurance situation. And if they go, whoa, you just called me, I don't have time, that's okay. I'm completely okay with that. I say, it's really only going to take about 10 minutes. Well, I don't have 10 minutes. I'm currently with a client. I'm doing a tile job. Completely understand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a clear time and date, right? The thing is, I'm not going to ask for, hey, give me a call in an hour. Gotcha. But actually, looks like in an hour, I'm going to be meeting with a client. What's a good time that I can call you that you're going to have about 10 to 15 minutes free? Again, a lot of people are going to play games saying, hey, the first time. First time they're going to give you, you can say no to. Maybe, maybe not. One of the things I do is I like to actually give them kind of a broad range. You know what? I have right around 4 o'clock free, so it might be 4 o'clock, it might be 4:10, depending. I usually like to run late with my clients because I really want to do a good job. I do have some agents who are going to set themselves specific times. Hey, you know what? You have 3:45. That's specifically what's available. They like to set them on off times. I'll tell you the research on either doesn't affect your show rate drastically, right? If you're finding people aren't showing up when you say, hey, around 4 o'clock, try the specific time. If you find they're not showing up at the specific time, try 4 o'clock and call them 5 minutes late. I know, it's uncomfortable. Like last week when we said you got to get out of your comfort zone and try something new. If they do have time, what you need to do is you need to go through and explain your steps in the sales process. One thing about adults is we like to know exactly what's going to happen next. So I'm going to say, hey, this is what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some fact finding, and then I'm going to present you a plan, and then I'm going to ask for your business. So I'll show you what I say. So again, the introduction is the introduction of who you are, the engaging question, the with them or what's in it for me, and the process. So here's an example of my intro. Hi, is John there? Thanks for taking my call. It's Steve, the health insurance guy. I'm a licensed health insurance agent at AHCP, giving you a call because you requested to be contacted about health insurance. What I do is I save my client on average about 15% on their health insurance. Does that sound good to you? Note that the thanks for taking my call. That's kind of knocking them off. Who I am. I'm calling because they requested, and what I do is I save my clients on average about 15%. Now, if it does sound great, I'm going to just jump into my next steps. This is very important. This is actually something not a lot of people do. You'll increase your close rate just by telling people exactly what you're going to do. So, well, John, what I do is I'm going to ask you a few questions about your health insurance needs. Together, we're going to customize a plan to best suit your needs, and from there, we're going to make any changes. And as long as you like what you hear, we're going to go ahead and get you applied for that plan today. Super powerful statement. First off, saying, hey, I'm going to do some fact finding. I'm going to do some investigation. After that, I'm going to put together some stuff and show you what I think is the best fit for you. And as long as you like that, what we're going to do is actually walk through an application today. I've heard a lot of people remove the today because they're uncomfortable, but I suggest leaving it because if you can, it's going to let them know you're serious and you mean business. If you do want a copy of this, you can always take a screenshot, but you can reach out to us as well at training@ahcpsales.com. Keep in mind, these are recorded and are posted on our YouTube and our training section on about usually Wednesdays. If you have any questions about any of the carriers we went over there when we were going through our sales shoutouts, feel free to call Agency Services at 877-228-8773. I'll talk to you guys next Monday and have a great week.